Hello, YouTube family and friends. Welcome back. Today, we're going to do something slightly different. And basically, I'm cashing in on a promise I made in the beginning, which is I said, aside from me showing up to share what I was meant to share, I also am here to adopt a meta perspective on what it is that I'm actually doing here in the hopes of this inspiring, helping other people who are also on this journey. And the reason why that is so important is because we are in such unprecedented times. The world is changing so fast. A new consciousness is spreading so fast, luckily, right? But with this rise of this new consciousness in us and the people around us, like on a global scale, that also means that with us moving into the age of Aquarius currently, have been, are, will be for the next years, um, that also means that long-standing systems, institutions will continue to crumble. Will continue to see disruption and eventually dissolve, right? But what happens, or rather, the chance that we have now really is for, with this rise of new consciousness, the people that have contact to it, the people that are tapped in, they will be now called to the forefront because as the old systems are crumbling, as the old institutions are finding disruptions the way they do, we just have to look at the news, right? Or just like look around us. Um, that just means that it is time for innovation. It is time for us collectively on a global scale to think differently, do things differently, build differently, relate to each other differently, right? And what we're also seeing is that the solution is not to be expected from them, whoever them is, whoever that, power collective outside of us is, that's not going to be what we can look to, for the solution. Though so the solution has always been within us, right? But this is why, aside from you can actually make so much money online, is like except next to that, we don't want to mock that because like why would we? It's a good time to be alive. But I'm saying it's beyond that. So, with us being in these unprecedented times, with all the people who are tapped into this higher consciousness that is tapping over, that is taking over, everybody that is tapped into that, you guys are being called forth, forward. You guys are being called to share. Everybody that has knowledge, like gifts, um, wisdom, knowing, that is here to assist the world to develop further and rise higher, you guys are being called, right? And so I have a couple notes today. Yeah. Well, as this is the overall task for us collectively to step into our position each, for some people, it's going to look like the thing that I'm doing right now. It's like literally showing up online, is showing up on YouTube, is starting to share whatever we know. But it doesn't have to be like that for everybody. Some people are artists, some people are entrepreneurs, some people um lead families, some people, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to take on this exact shape or form. But the whole point is if you are tapped in and you'll know if you're tapped into that, the world desperately needs it, right? So, hence, we're making this video today. It's not just about the message that I'm here to bring, which is to help people tap into their genius, to then bring it into the world, but it is showing a little BTS, a little what has been happening with me. This is now I'm closing the second week of showing up online and sharing what I have to share. What have I learned? What have I seen within myself? What were things that I had to coach myself through? Because I feel like people who have already gained um their audience, right? By the end of the day, and that will be all of us eventually, they'll say, "Listen, it's hard, but you just have to do it. You just have to keep pushing." And truth is truth. That's just what it is, right? But as someone who's like literally in the process right now, I feel like I can actually add a couple nuances to it's hard and you just have to keep going. So let's go into that. I'm now closing off week 2. You have to know that by the beginning of this, I ran into a video by Bronchus, Father Bronchus. What is his Make Art Not Content is his channel, I think. I'm gonna link it in the description anyway. But he works with artists, right? And he has this program for 40 days. He works with artists to help them make art, like whatever they felt stuck on, like to really get into that. So I watched this video, and he basically talks about the different steps they take. It's like just 7 things they do every day. I don't know if I'm gonna get all of them right, but it starts with getting up early. This is one I was struggling with. Getting up early, same hour every day, eat good, exercise daily, do art every day, take care of business every day. 2 more, I don't know what the other ones are. Something about a sleep routine, like, like relaxing early. What's the 6th? Now I wanna know. Anyway, so this is the video that I watched, right? Coincidentally, of course, such a coincidence. When I was like, this by this date, which is 2 weeks ago, I'm gonna start with this journey. This is when that video found me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take inspiration from this and do like my own version of this. For me, it really has been about getting up the same hour every day. To be honest, I am fluctuating between 7 and 8. Okay. But this has been a huge thing already because I would sleep. I sleep, guys. I really like to sleep. I really, really, really like to sleep. And also stop fighting myself for wanting to sleep. But I'm just now more disciplined in terms of when I get up and also when I go to sleep. So this has been the biggest change so far that I took on from that. But what I found interesting in that video, I'm going to link it. You can watch it yourself. What I found interesting in that video is that he basically shows footage of his student batch, right? Throughout the 40 days. And in the beginning, everybody's like so enthusiastic, and everyone is like, "Yeah, like I can't wait to get into this challenge and like do all of this." And I think by the end, I don't want to give it away. You guys should go watch it. But it's not a huge number that makes it in the end. I think they started out with like 140 or something. And not many made it. That's one. And the second one is by like day, I don't know, maybe like by the middle of it, people really were like saying like it's hard. They were like struggling, you know. I just saw in that video they were like, yeah, it's just really tough. Some people had like headaches, like it showed like physically. But they were like, it is so hard. It's so hard. Like they really had to push against themselves. And I just watched that video on, I don't know, the Friday or Saturday before the Monday in which I got this year started. And I just saw it. So I just took note, you know what I mean? And when I tell you this last week in particular, which is the second week of my practice, this practice here, I don't know why someone decided to fix their house just now. I hope it's not too disturbing for you guys. Um, but at least somebody's gonna have a prettier apartment by the end of this, right? Celebrate the wins when you can. Mm, yeah, this week I really had to think about all the times when those people were like, "It's so hard." So this week, I was so happy that I watched that video. This week, I was so, like, just reminded of that the whole time because I was about to lose my mind, I was like, "Why is it like this? Like, why am I struggling? Like, what's going on?" And I decided to now talk about it, like, open this conversation of what is actually happening. So, of course, I can only speak from my perspective, right? That's going to be different for everybody. But what I found interesting is that as a pattern, after having started and after now practicing consistency, there's something happening in you, right? And for me, it showed in I felt irritated. I didn't struggle so much with like getting up because at some point I just did. I also got up. I also got into bed super early, like compared to how I usually do it, which could have been chaotic before. Um, but I woke up irritated. I felt like things that I thought I had already dealt with and healed through reappeared and were there again. I was walking around with a heaviness that I couldn't really understand. And yesterday, for example, for I've never done this before. I meditated for 3 hours, not in one go, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. But I've never outside of like practicing in the temples by myself at home, I've never done that before. And I really had to sit with all the things that were, like, appearing and happening. And then, you know, by the end, and this is now the core message of today, it hit me. When we step into our role, step into sharing our gifts, and in this case, like, like, just showing up, right? It's not just that the message itself is being developed. It's not just that the the message, the thing that you're here to say is being crafted and how you say it and the voice and who exactly you're talking to at what angle, like all of these things. It's not just these things. It's not just the message. It's not just the gift that is being constructed. What is also being constructed is you. I had to recognize and then accept, which then led me to feel this relief of this heaviness that I was carrying this whole week because I was fighting it. Like I couldn't understand it. I was struggling to show up in the way that I wanted to. I still did it, but in the days between, I was struggling so much. But not just that, I was fighting that I was struggling. I was fighting that I was struggling. And that created this extra heaviness around it, right? So what I realized is like, oh, it's not just my message that is being formed. It's not just the very gift that I'm here to share. It's not just that. Also, me, I, the bearer of the gifts, the giver of the gifts, I am being reconstructed from within in the same exact moment. So, of course, what you will find is you will feel irritated. You will feel anxious. You might feel, like I said, like I have been experiencing in the last week, you might feel depressed again. You might feel, um, wounds coming up that you thought you had already healed through. You might feel heavy, intense emotions again that might, lure you back into a state of stagnancy. Is that a word? Just into a state of rest, If we don't know what's going on, we might call that rest. Movement is going to hurt. Like movement into your stepping into our gifts is going to hurt. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But it's the if I feel it through once and I'm healing it through once, it's done type of hurt, okay? It's not a senseless, I'm doing something that leads me nowhere hurt, okay? To be very clear. So, yeah, man, I realized that it's not just the message that is being constructed, but also I am being reconstructed from within in order to hold my message, in order to have this capacity to think and connect with my people, right? To sync with them and hold all the inspiration that is now coming through in that particular way that my body and my being and my inner blueprint was set out to do. I'm also growing. I'm also maneuvering. So, of course, when you feel grief, that means you're doing everything correctly. Or in my case, that's how I knew by the end of the week. In between, I was like, what the fuck? That's how I knew I was doing everything correctly. Because what is grief at the end of the day? It's just unexpressed, unprocessed emotions that are still being held on. Everything you hold on to, it is a holding pattern. Also means that nothing else can enter, right? So if you want to flush the system, we're going to need grief is going to assist us in that, right? And so here's just the heads up for everyone. If you step into this and you do this now more regularly, and these things happen without this awareness, without this consciousness, this can seem like you're not doing it right. This can seem like you're not going into the right direction because it feels icky. It doesn't feel, you know, or it's like scary or whatever it is. And then our minds jump in and fill the blanks and start telling us stories of maybe why this isn't really for us, or maybe why now is not the time, or maybe why, you know what I mean? So there's a time and space for everybody. I genuinely do not believe in telling everybody you have a what is it? What do they all say? A visibility wound and you have to heal it now. Like there is a timing for everything. There's a timing for everything. You will mature through whatever you have to mature through in your life, and there will be a time when it is time for you to step in and speak. And if it's not that time yet, there's no point in trying to push people there. It's not gonna help nobody, right? But if you know deep inside this is your time, be warned. Just be warned. If you step into this, you know what I mean, and these emotions come up, is not a sign for you to stop. It's not a sign for you to stop. It's a sign that you're doing everything correctly. It's a sign that you're doing everything correctly, in that, it's time to what I have learned for myself as a result, what I will be moving on with, into the next weeks is now I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to fight it. If I feel how I feel and I feel resistance and I feel sadness and I feel whatever it is I feel is there for me to simply feel and accept and be with, because I have seen for myself, and everybody has to see that for themselves, right? By sitting with it and being with it and accepting it, I just stopped fighting it. And when I stopped fighting it, it all of a sudden wasn't that big of a deal anymore. All of a sudden, it wasn't that big of a deal anymore. And then I could see, okay, yeah, I really had that to feel again. I really had to release that. I really had to go back and think differently about a situation and a person again. I really did have to go back and set that straight in my memory again. I really had to go back because all of this is you reconstructing yourself in this very process. You are reconstructing yourself and you are being reconstructed. And what you can do, the best thing, like the least thing, which is also the best thing you can do, is to not fight it, right? Don't fight it. Just don't fight it. Let it happen because it's really the side. It's just it's the shadow side of what you say and you know what you want. It's what you say and what you know that you want, but it's the side that we didn't see and is not that obvious right from the beginning and kind of feels icky, but it's off that thing. It's off that thing. So, yeah, this was today's um message, right? For all the people out there that are ready to step into, their role and their position. If you are someone, and you are obviously, because why would you be here and sitting here and talking to me, and why would I be talking to you? If it's time to step into your role and you are getting into that routine and you are doing that, you know, don't be discouraged by these emotions. Like, at least from week 2 now, from me to you, I can tell you that this is normal, that this is so normal, and that everything is pointing towards you being reconstructed. So, that was already it, guys. I hope you can work with this. Do share your experiences with me. How has it been for you so far? If you've stepped in, what channels have you been using? Like, just how is it going for you? Can you resonate with this? Share with me, like and share the video. And I see you guys next week. And I'm wishing you a lovely day, weekend, but really, whenever you see this, have a blessed day. Love.